Greetings from Father Isidore Clark. Today I am going to reflect on the Gospel for the fourth Sunday of Ordinary Time, Year B. What have you to do with us, Jesus of Nazareth? Do you want to destroy us? That was the cry of the man possessed by the unclean spirit. Although he recognized Jesus as the Holy One of God, he feared that he had come to destroy him. He'd become so accustomed to his wretched way of life, he didn't want it to be changed. He feared Jesus would add to his misery rather than make him happier. Sadly, many people, perhaps including us, may share that man's fear. It's not a question of our being possessed by demons, unless we take that in a very wide sense. But we may fear that Christ's way of life is too demanding and that it will restrict our freedom to do as we please. And it is true that following Jesus will sometimes prevent us from joining those who don't share his sense of values. That can isolate us and make us lonely. There's also what the letter to the Hebrews calls the sin that clings. Because we find that attractive, we are reluctant to let go of it and change our behavior. We may fear that Christ's way of life is some kind of straitjacket, restricting our freedom to develop. That is the very opposite of his purpose. In his manifesto, in St. Luke's Gospel, chapter 4, Jesus quotes Isaiah. As the promised Messiah, Jesus has come to set prisoners free from whatever constricts our healthy development. That is principally sin, which, far from being an expression of our freedom, stultifies our growth. We can become enslaved to the desire to do what is wrong and become unwilling to let go of it. Jesus has come to set us free. So what does that freedom mean? Not, as we may think, to do exactly as we please. That kind of freedom can so easily bring out the worst in us and harm others. We let ourselves and others down. If we all did exactly as we please, there would be anarchy. This point is very relevant today, when there's so much discussion about the right to free speech. People tend to forget that freedom carries with it responsibilities. Before speaking, we need to consider the likely effects of our words. Will they cause deep offence? Are they likely to provoke violent retaliation? Are we denying people's right to be treated with respect? If so, we are abusing the right to free speech. The freedom Christ offers us enables us to know what is right, to want it, and to have the strength to do it. The freedom not to want or do what will diminish us and other people. Far from restricting our growth, Jesus offers us real freedom to develop as human beings and as his followers. Instead of clothing us as in a straitjacket, Jesus has come to give us the fullness of life. Certainly he tells us what we should or shouldn't do. But the purpose of such laws is not to cramp our style, but to promote our growth and protect us from what will harm us. The truth, he says, will set us free. The way of life he urges us to follow is an expression of his love for us. That's the kind of love a good parent shows in bringing up his or her children to behave well. They love their children too much to allow them to run wild and come to harm. Jesus loves us so much that he does all that he can to help us to make the most of our lives. He's enabled us to respond freely to his law of love with the glorious liberty of the children of God. That's real freedom. So let's not be like the man in today's gospel who resented Jesus. He wanted Jesus to leave him alone. He wanted nothing to do with Jesus. Instead, let us welcome Jesus and his way of life, trusting that he knows and wants what is the very best for us, even when we don't.